It's time to pay attention. Bitcoin's preparing for, by far, the largest move of the entire year. It's time to pay attention. I'm going to show you a chart today that's going to really dictate whether this thing is going to be incredibly bullish or incredibly bearish. You today will have that tip in your hands by the end of this video. It's time to buckle up. If you're new here, my name is Steve. I'm going to help you have a lot less stress and a lot more success by just focusing on the facts in the charts, nothing else. Let's jump straight in. We've got a lot to get to. Bitcoin's above 50,000, first time in 4 months. The question is it going to remain bullish? Are we about to turn bearish? What's going to happen? But most importantly, the largest move of the year hasn't happened yet. Plain and simple. Let that sink in. The largest move hasn't happened. That's what this video is about. We'll start with the small picture on the daily chart. A lot of bullishness has been happening the past couple weeks. For example, about 1 month ago on July 21st, we pointed out this long drawn out downtrend that we were in the RSI. For the entire calendar year of 2021, we broke out on July 21st. That was big news. But what I'm going to share with you today is even bigger. And we'll get to that in a moment, but we've got to paint a clear picture of what's happening in the short term. Yes, price action created a high on July 30th. Yes, it created another higher high here and another higher high and another higher high and another higher high. The bad news is at the same time, it did the exact opposite in the RSI, creating a high and a lower high and a lower high and a lower high and another lower high. This is bearish divergence. We need to pay attention to this. This is not the major move of the year, but it will impact prices in the short to medium term. What we want to see to try to avoid this is if we reverse this trend and if we can have the RSI get above this high that we created on August 13th, or better yet, the high that we created on August 9th, then we would start to null and void this bearish divergence. Good news is we are above this red line here, which is the 200-day moving average. This is something that traders look at really historically over all types of markets. The 200-day moving average is something I want you to keep your eye on. If you haven't done so already, peel your eyes to this. Don't pay attention to the day to day. I don't want you spending a lot of time on the daily chart, but I wanted to point this out because it would be a point of concern. Now jumping into something that is the fan favorite, something everybody has loved to hear about, is the Gaussian channel and our Quicksand. If you're new to the Gaussian channel, if you zoom out and you look at Bitcoin over the past 10 years, there's been 4 other times in history that we were in a major uptrend. We fell down into the Gaussian channel, which acted as quicksand. It held us in there for an average of 1 year. And this is not what we think might happen. This is just the facts and the charts. In this channel, we only talk about the facts, and you can't avoid the facts. Anytime we were in an uptrend, we fell into the Gaussian channel. It was 1 year of hell, stuck in quicksand. And it happened 4 previous times. And right now we're in the 5th data point. This is the 5th time in history that we were in a major uptrend and we fell into quicksand. We actually fell into the quicksand 95 days ago. We've been trapped in the quicksand for 95 days. We had our head under the quicksand here and we couldn't breathe. Now we battled out of the quicksand. We've got our head peeking through, but our body is still in the quicksand. Those are the facts in the charts. We're still in it. However, in about 13 hours from now, we're going to close this candle and we're going to open our new candle potentially as support on this quicksand. But in 5 days from now, we will recover the quicksand again to see where we're at. It could be the first time in 100 days that we close above the quicksand, which currently is at 46.4K. 46.4K is where we need the entire body to close outside of that quicksand, and hopefully we don't even have a wick inside the quicksand. And then at that point, we'll be completely out of it. But until then, we're still in the quicksand. Now, if you guys want some further information, you can follow us at Crypto Crew U over on the Twitters. As you know, Twitter's is on fire. Now, this is something that we've been in the works for a while. We're developing a lot of indicators that help you learn when to buy and when to sell. We basically want to remove all that stress of when to buy and when to sell so you can sit back and relax and get a step closer to your financial freedom. Here's one of them. It's beautiful. It printed a buy signal on August 16th. And by the way, the last time it printed a buy signal, Bitcoin was at 3K. And by the way, the time before that, it printed a buy signal, Bitcoin was at at 3K. So it's been a pretty cool indicator. We'll show you that. You cannot buy it now. You can sign up to it in the future, but we're very excited. We've been working on this for about 10 months, as well as some other indicators. Now, fear and greed, as we showed you, for the first time all year, we made our first higher high. This is major. All year, we were in this major downtrend. As you know, we created this beautiful base with resistance at 27, support at about 10. We broke out of this base. This by far was the longest base we had ever formed, showing a lot of momentum. This is a very strong base to have a large rally in the future. We're trying to reverse trend. We officially have done that. This is a year-long trend that has just been reversed recently in the fear and greed. Still need to pay attention to that. Now here's where it gets really interesting, especially in the next two charts. It's time to really focus in on these facts that I'm about to show you. Number one, I want to show you price action on the 2-week chart. Okay, we close the candle in 6 days from now. What we want to see is in 6 days from now, we still want to hold this level of about 45.1K. This is a major level to watch for the next 3 weeks. Pay attention to 45.1K. We want to continue to hold that as support. If we were to hold that as support in the next 6 days from now, and then that 2-week candle, the next one closed above that, there might be some fireworks to the upside. And here's why. If you look back down on the stochastic RSI, this is something that we've been covering for many years on YouTube. These crosses are major, especially when you have this long drawn out, and again, this is our momentum indicator, right? If you have a fire and you pour gasoline on the fire, that's when you have the blue line on top. If the blue line is on top, you're bullish. If the red line is on top, you're bearish. And when you have a cross, specifically a cross above that confirms above the 20, that's incredibly bullish, one of the most bullish things to happen. Now, you can see the facts in the charts here. The last time we had that momentum really drawn out and across was at 3K, and it confirmed above this level here, that's 20, when we were still roughly at 4K, right? And then we went quickly to 14K. That could definitely happen here. However, if we fail to get above this level, this 20K, we could fall into a trap here, and it could be a bull trap, which happened here. We were very close here and we crossed down. We were very close here. What you want to see is an actual cross, okay? We have our fast line, our blue line is above the 20. The slow line, the orange line, is not above 20 yet. However, it looks like if we were to close this candle in the next 6 days above 45.1 and the following candle 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, close that one above 45.1K, it's highly probable at that point we would have had our slow line above here, and we would have held our base structure here that started forming in February. That could mean fireworks to the upside, but it all happens in the next chart. This is where everything forms together and things start to become very clear, because once a year or twice a year, Bitcoin has the largest move of the year. And I'm going to show you right now what happens first and exactly in which order it happens, so you can know if this bullish move is going to happen for the largest move of the year, or is it going to be a bearish move for the largest move of the year. How do you know? Here's where it happens. Okay, the NVT HV is our custom indicator. This one down here. We built this from scratch. We combined the NVT, we combined the HV, we combined the key components that we deem important, and we combine it in with some signals. And this is where it gets interesting. Pay attention to the color change, okay? We told you for a very long time, watch the change from white to red. And we had that back here when we were at 11,000. You can see down here, we changed to red. And we basically said red is incredibly bullish, and if it remains red, we're bullish. And we remained red from 11,000 all the way up to that 65, and then we changed to white here on April 12th. Look down here at the date, April 12th. Let's go to price action. Where were we on April 12th? Well, we were right here at our top of over 60K. That's when we turned to white. And we said on this channel, watch out. This change to white is no joke. It's time to pay attention. And then we went back to red momentarily, but we went to white officially on May 3rd, and that was the end of it. We were white this whole time, and that's when we went bearish. Why did we go bearish? Well, our indicator told us it's time to be bearish, okay? And we went from about 65, and we dropped all the way down to 30, 29,000, etc. And then we changed back to red. We changed back to red on July 19th, back when we were at about 32,000. And that's when right here on this channel we said, look, This is very bearish. And again, we're not trying to pat ourselves on the back. We don't make prediction videos. In fact, give all the credit to the chart. The facts are in the charts. We just cover the facts. We're not trying to say, look at us, we predict everything right. We don't predict anything. All we do is interpret the facts, and that's it. We don't deserve any credit, nor does our channel. We should give all the credit to the charts. The charts are what are saying the facts are. So we're just interpreting it. We're just reading the charts. Now, the reason this is important is when we changed to red here, that's very bullish, okay? And we're at about 32, 33, and then we went up to where we are now, about 50. But this is where it gets really interesting. And this is how you can know the largest move of the year is just about to happen. And we covered it weeks ago. When we drop below this yellow line, that's when the largest move happens. We haven't done that since last year, okay? When we drop below this yellow line, what I want you to watch is when we come out from this yellow line, above the yellow line, what color are we? If we come from above this yellow line and we're white, watch out. It'll be a bloodbath. Mark my words. These are just the facts in the charts. Loud and clear. Now, Steve, how do we know that? Well, look here. We were below this yellow line. We popped our head out of this yellow line in white. What happened? We plummeted from about 10K to 3K. Now do I have your attention? Well, what happened before? We went below this line. We popped our head out in red. Where were we? Well, we were at about 19,000 and we went all the way up to 65. The time before that, again, you can look at any time, but when you pop your head below this level and you pop your head back above, the key is, are we red? Or are we white? It's really that simple. That's it. Okay, that's going to tell us if this large move that's upcoming is going to be bullish or bearish. Now, we have some other things happening in the charts. As you know, a couple weeks ago, we talked about this stochastic RSI cross. We love the stochastic RSI cross. This happened a few weeks ago back here. And also, we just popped our head above the bullish territory in the weekly RSI. But again, we're not out of the woods yet. This could still be a major fake out, and it will catch a lot of people by surprise if it is. And we're going to know based on the MVT whether it's red or white once we go below. And you can see we're not yet below here, but we covered it a few weeks ago back when we were here, and we just said watch out for this 40 level. Right now we're at 44. We want to see us go below here. That'll tell us the largest move is coming. Once we pop our head back up, if we're red, we're going to be incredibly bullish. We're going to a new all-time high. It'll be a rocket ship all-time high. And if we're white, it'll be a bloodbath. It's that simple. Now, let's look at our three-box theory. Three-box theory, if you're relatively new, you're like, what's this three-box theory? Well, here it is. We say that in every single cycle, we hit a wall. We actually hit a wall at the same exact point in every single cycle when we have our first red candles in each and every cycle. By the way, this wall that we hit is right before the parabolic top. Now, this wall, we didn't just draw these boxes aimlessly. We drew these boxes about 10 months ago, and we've been following this chart for about 10 months. And what we say is the bottom of the box is a 1.5x multiple of the previous all-time high. You take the previous all-time high, 1.5x multiple, that gets the bottom of the box. This all-time high, 1.5x, that's the bottom of this box, so on and so forth. The top of the box is a 4x multiple. Now, the theory suggests that in every single cycle, we do the same things. We enter this box and we have our first red monthly candles of the entire bull market. And by the way, that's when everyone freaks out. And by the way, that's when we crash all the way down to the bottom of the box, the 1.5x multiple. You can see that's what we did all the way back here in 2013. We did that also in 2017. And by the way, we did that recently with the past few candles. Okay, so we crash all the way to the bottom of the box, and that's when people freak out. That's when they say the rally's over, but we remained level-headed. Why? Because the facts in the charts. Okay, we don't deserve the credit for creating this. It's just the facts in the charts that we looked, we gathered these facts, we made sense of it, we made a clear strategy, and this has helped us remain level-headed over the past 9 months. Because before we even entered this box, we warned everybody here, like, hey, we're gonna come up on this box, and we're probably gonna have our first red monthly candle. That's when nobody wanted to believe that there could be a monthly candle that's red during the bull market, because we were up above 60,000 Everyone was looking at 100,000, but we were like, hey, the facts are that we're probably going to have a red candle. We don't have a crystal ball to say exactly what time it's going to happen, but it's probably going to happen inside this box. Just remain level-headed. And we did. And we also had inside of this box a peak of the RSI on the monthly. Major. Happens every single cycle inside of this box. What we're looking for is to hopefully have our second one. The second one generally marks the market cycle top. We only had the first one so far. What's going to be very interesting is how we're going to play with this level, 71.63 on the monthly. If there's one thing that you're watching over the next 2 months, it's this. How are we going to interact with this? If we're so bullish to crash, to move above this, that would be the most bullish thing to happen in many years. Because look, the facts don't lie. This level's major. Nobody can argue that. That's not my opinion. It's just the fact. You can see it started back here in 2012 as resistance, and then in 2013 as support, and then in 2017 as support, and then in 2018 as support. And we just recently broke that level. So it was our support. Now it's our resistance. We can't argue that. It's our resistance. How are we going to play with it? Are we going to have so much momentum that we plow through it? That'll be the most bullish thing in many years. Or is this going to be the fact that we come out of the MVT white right at this point and we come crashing down, surprising everybody? So I'm open to either. And again, if you mentally accept either scenario, then there's no stress. Don't focus on the day-to-day. Focus on a couple key points in the charts to remain level-headed. By the way, everyone's biggest question is when to sell cryptocurrency. So we actually made a video, when to sell cryptocurrency, with 3 simple steps. I'll link it right here. It'll be right here. It'll be down below. This is our most popular video. You should watch it right now. It'll help you tremendously, okay? So that's the summary of what's happening this week. There's some bullishness happening, short-term bearish divergence. Is that going to play out in the next week? We have our major crosses happening. We're still, unfortunately, inside of our quicksand. We did print a major signal here. We did reverse trend with this. We have some bullishness potentially happening in the next couple of weeks. We're going to be paying close attention to the color of the MVT, and if we go below that 40, a lot is happening. There's some things to be excited about. Remain level-headed. I'll see you right back here on the next video. Peace and love to the fellow underdogs. Watch that video right now. That video that's right here or right somewhere right next to my big face. Click on that. Watch that. You will enjoy it. It'll help you tremendously.